Normally, when a new monster book is created for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, a bunch of awesome writers create lore, stat blocks, and abilities for creatures and then pitch their ideas to artists. Those artists then have to bring those ideas to life through their art to put in the eventual book. But with Incredible Creatures, Alan Tucker actually got the idea of reversing that. He had a bunch of great artists create awesome art for really weird and wicked creatures, and then asked a bunch of writers, including myself, yes, I'm in here, to create stats and lore and even come up with the names and everything for those creatures. So let's look inside and see how it did. Hi there, fellow roleplayers and game masters. My name is Mr. Tarask, still your favorite and go-to YouTube channel for everything third-party Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition related, reviews, previews, flip-throughs, everything. But today I want to talk about Incredible Creatures, not only because it is an incredible, cool book with an incredible, cool way of thinking about monster books. Also, I am in here, well, not I am in here as a monster, but I am in here as a writer. I've written like 1 page for this book and I'm super proud of it, so I'm going to show you in this video. But I want to talk about the book as a whole, whether or not I like it. First of all, I like it very much. It was a Kickstarter by Alan Tucker and it got backed, and a lot of people started writing and creating art for it, and a lot of people that got it in their hands absolutely love it. Now, I have one major issue with it. I will get into that in a bit, but it is a major issue, but it is not the fault of Alan Tucker or anybody who worked on this. It is somebody else's fault, but I have an issue with it. I take issue with that. So Incredible Creatures is a monster book, and like I said, they created the art first, and then the monsters and the titles and the names and the lore and whatever. So an artist got complete carte blanche, like they say, carte blanche, and they created art and they got some really, really, really wicked creatures in there. But that's not the only thing you're getting. You're also getting lair maps, you're getting a few new magic items, you're getting a random rolling table for wild magic is even in here. So there's more into it, but in essence, it's a monster book. And I love monster books. Now, why do I like it that much? Well, I like it that much because of the reversed way of looking at things. As a consumer, I was afraid, before I got this book, I was afraid that it was kind of a gimmick, kind of a unique selling point, that as a consumer, it's just a monster book and you don't care if the monsters are created first and then the lore, or the lore first and then the monsters. But actually, the way they did it is really smart. I'm going to give you an example. For example, this is a creature that was drawn before any of the text showed up, right? So it's this. It doesn't have a name. It's just an artist who created the thing here, and they asked a bunch of writers, including me, to create stats for this. Now, not only stats, but lore and names. So every part has a different name and different lore. So this artwork has 4 creatures to it, if that makes any sense. For example, somebody called it a Moldering Guardian and gave it a challenge rating of 4, gave it a bunch of lore, gave it a bunch of stuff. Another person, me, called it a Vine Brute. I called it a Vine Brute, gave it a challenge rating of 5. Somebody else called it a Bog Monster, challenge rated 11. And another one even called it a Akartiwara and gave it a challenge rated of 21, and even like tactics and big pages of lore and everything for a challenge rated 21 creature, which is absolutely cool. So everybody, there's 4 versions of this monster, and that is what I like about it. For example, I like sitting in my sofa or my chair at home, wherever, on my kitchen island, and just flipping through monster books. And a lot of the time, I find myself bumping into a piece of artwork that I really, really, really like. And I see the artwork and I really run that creature for my players. But then I see the creature is challenge rated 3 and my players are level 15 or 16. Or the other way around, I see, oh, I like this artwork, but it is challenge rated 21 and my players are only level 9. I have to like really dumb this creature down in order to use it against my players, which often I find myself not using those creatures then, which is a shame, and there's a lot of creatures that are not played because of that reason. At least it is for me. With this way, it is cool. You can flip through the monster book, looking at artwork, just flipping through it, looking at artwork, like, whoa, there's artwork here, there's artwork there, and then suddenly you bump into this guy, and you are like, wow, that looks cool, and my players are in a magical forest. And they might bump into some of these creatures, and I think the way they look are really cool, and they really belong in my campaign, so I'm gonna use it. Let's see what they are. And then you see that there is a challenge rate of 4, 5, 11, and 21 version of it. So there's a big chance one of these is usable in your campaign, and that is super cool. You go as not only as the people that created this book went from artwork to text and stat blocks. You as a dungeon master, as a game prepper, you can go from artwork to the creature you actually use in your game. Let's say your players are level 5 and you picked my challenge rated 5 Vine Brute. I gave it Grasping Tendrils. I kind of made it like a forest version of a Groper, where it uses these Rasta-like tendrils to pick people up, bullets towards it, and just bound the living crap out of these people with fist attacks. That's the basic idea of the Vine Brute. They are the guardians of the magical forest. I've written the lore for it. I've written this page completely, and I'm super duper proud of it. I like it that it's in here. I absolutely love it. Now I come to the part that I don't really like, and that is the printing quality of this thing. The printing quality of Drive-Thru RPG is really outdated. I mean, if you open the PDF, if you have the PDF on your computer or you get it via Drive-Thru, a link in the description below, you see that the colors are vibrant, they pop, the pages are beautiful. Look at this creature, cool creature, right? I really like this, like, never-ending story-esque dragon, love it. So the colors really pop, the reds are really red, the orange is really orange, and the blue is really blue, but the printing quality for Incredible Creatures from Drive-Thru RPG is just not, to my opinion, up to date. It's good enough for its price, but it's just not there. And I just wish that, I hope Alan Tucker, next time he does something, he gets another printing company or whatever to do it, because I do not like the printing quality of Drive-Thru RPG. It needs to be said. Now, that said, there's a bunch of other cool stuff in here, and there is layers. And this is something super cool, page 93. I had this prepared, but I lost it. 94, I'm sorry. There is layers in here, and the cool thing is, well, the bad news is, if you have this as a physical copy, you just have a page with a layer, which is way too big to draw out yourself on your table or whatever, so you just have this layer and you cannot really use it in a physical thing if you're playing physically around the table. But if you have like a beamer setup or you're playing online, you can absolutely use those layers to your advantage. As you can see, I just jumped into Shard Tabletop. This is Shard Tabletop. You can get it through the marketplace on Shard Tabletop. Link is in the description below. If you click that link, there might be some cool discounts there. 10% off of some Kobold Press stuff and 20% off of your next subscription with Shard Tabletop, maybe through my link in the description below. If you get Incredible Creatures through their marketplace, you get all the layers and everything. And as you can see, while my recording software doesn't show the colors as brightly and as beautifully as they look on my screen, but they are really, let me promise you, really well done, and everything is set up and ready to go. As you can see, there is this thing, there is this layer. For example, this is like a place of interest or something. You just click it, go to book, and you get, like, to the right for the game master, you get like everything you need to read, all the stuff, the plate coral right here for your players. You can show them, you can run the game. Everything is set up, the encounters are set up through these maps, and I really like this layer. I really like that there's like this shady extra thing here while playing. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly show that because the layers are in the physical book, but if you get the Shard Tabletop version, you also have the layer on your tabletop or any other tabletop for that matter where it's available. And as you can see, this lair belongs to this creature, but only to this creature. By that I mean that they created this artwork, and another bunch of people created a bunch of different challenge rated for them. Challenge rated H, challenge rated a half, all that stuff. So an artist came up with this stuff, and a bunch of writers created cool monsters from that. And that is the essence of this book. You bump yourself into a piece of artwork that you really like, and then you go look for a challenge rating that suits you, and you just use that stat. And if you want to use the lore, you can use the lore or whatever. And that is basically the basic premise of this. Now there's another thing in here which is kind of a surprise. There's even one Warlock patron in here, which is a new way of playing the Warlock, and I love the idea, but I don't think it is really manageable in a real life situation because it takes a lot of micromanaging. I love the idea, hear me out. There is this I cannot pronounce this for the life of me. Haluf Pau Warlock patron, Haluf Pau, something like that. And it is all about chaos. You're a warlock, and every morning, every long rest, you get to choose your spells as a warlock, right? But now you can roll a d4, and you can choose spells from 4 different lists: Bard, Cleric, Druid, or Wizard. Every morning, you can get spells from Warlock and one other. Whatever you roll in the d4. So, for example, you wake up in the morning and you roll a 4, right? You roll a 4, which is Wizard. You can then pick your spells for that day for the Warlock and the Wizard spell list, which is cool. I love the idea, but isn't that like really hard to manage? Because then every time you make a long rest and you want to change some spells over, you have to roll, and then you have to see and look through the entire spell lists if there is anything. You can prepare all of that, I guess, but also you can really metagame the living crap out of that. If you need one specific wizard spell, for example, and you're going out to fight a big dragon and you need one specific wizard spell, for example, it's really easy to just sit around in an inn, paying for your room, and every morning rolling a d4 and doing that all the way up to the point where you roll a 4 and you get the wizard spell and you go kill the dragon. Something like that. So that's really easy to metagame, if you ask me, but I love the idea. I like the idea. It is an option. There are people that are really into the into like these micromanaging stuff, so why not? For people who like it, why not? But for me, this kind of feels like added on content more, because for me, in essence, this is a great monster book that you can flip through, especially if you have it digitally with the great artwork, with the colors that really pop out, and you can get yourself some great monsters to your challenge rating, and I really love that. But the Warlock Patron, I don't know. There is a spell I love, Stone to Flesh, where you can have stone turn into flesh if it was ever flesh. So if you go to a statue that used to be a person but was petrified at some point, you cast stone to flesh and that person becomes that person again. So imagine just sitting there as a stone creature for 10,000 years and somebody unstones you, and somebody invented the iPhone by then, which would be really weird. But stone to flesh, really cool 6th level transmutation spell. Other than that, really great creatures. Great book, bad printing. Until next video, bye-bye.